Hello everyone, welcome to the hub of Manchester United. Latest updates, let's get started. Manchester United's collapse at Newcastle, a night of mistakes, misjudgments, and midfield debates. In what turned into a disastrous evening for Manchester United, a 4-1 defeat at the hands of Newcastle United laid bare some of the deep-rooted issues plaguing Erik ten Hag's side. While fans and pundits alike anticipated a tough game, especially with an underwhelming lineup and injury concerns, the nature of the performance, particularly from the goalkeepers and the midfield, has sparked frustration and fresh debate. The injury to Andre Onana couldn't have come at a worse time. Stepping in, Altay Bayındır was given a crucial opportunity to prove himself, and unfortunately, he faltered. The Turkish international's mistake leading directly to Newcastle's fourth goal was emblematic of the wider malaise currently afflicting Manchester United. For a player who needed a quiet, composed game to build trust among the fans and coaching staff, it turned out to be a nightmare scenario. The consensus during the post-match discussion was clear. This was as bad as it gets. With Bayındır struggling and Onana likely not fully fit, conversations turned toward third-choice keeper Tom Heaton. Once a seasoned backup, Heaton is now being mentioned half-jokingly, half-desperately as a potential solution. It's a sign of the times. When a club of Manchester United's stature is contemplating dipping further down the pecking order for solutions, alarm bells start to ring. Defensively, United were completely outclassed. Newcastle, full of confidence and cohesion, played with a purpose. In contrast, Manchester United appeared disjointed, directionless, and bereft of ideas, particularly in the second half. There was a brief 20-minute spell in the first half where United seemed to string together decent play, possibly a glimpse of what they could be, but it quickly unraveled. As the second half progressed, it became a case of men against boys, a total capitulation. What followed wasn't just a tactical breakdown, but an emotional one, too. The body language of United players told its own story. Heads dropped, shoulders slumped, and leadership was absent. It was a game screaming for character, but few stepped up. Newcastle smelled blood and kept pushing, with talk among pundits suggesting that 5-1 or even 6-1 would have been fair, and perhaps deserved. Amid the chaos on the pitch, another debate was brewing, this one in midfield. A passionate exchange about the merits of Bruno Fernandes versus Bruno Guimaraes quickly took center stage. While Fernandes has statistically created more chances than Kevin De Bruyne over the last 5 years, his performances in big games have increasingly come under scrutiny. Guimaraes, on the other hand, was lauded as one of the best midfielders in the Premier League, with composure, intelligence, and impact in all phases of play. The conversation hit a nerve. One side argued Fernandes's creativity and leadership. The numbers don't lie, after all. But the counterpoint was clear. Would he start in any of Liverpool's current midfield roles? The response was a resounding no, with claims that he wouldn't displace the likes of McAllister, Gravenberch, or Szoboszlai in Klopp's system. This comparison only underscores the larger issue. Is Bruno Fernandes truly world-class, or is he simply shining in a system that lacks structure? Ultimately, this match has prompted more questions than answers for Manchester United. With Champions League hopes fading and domestic form spiraling, Ten Hag faces enormous pressure. If anything, this defeat doesn't just reveal individual mistakes. It exposes a team struggling for identity, leadership, and consistency. Whether it's in goal, in midfield, or in the dugout, change feels inevitable. Roy Keane claimed Bayındır's decision-making is not good enough. This is big boy stuff. Roy Keane blasts Altay Bayındır after Newcastle howler. Manchester United's dismal night at St. James's Park was made even worse by a calamitous error from stand-in goalkeeper Altay Bayındır, whose mistake led to Newcastle's fourth goal in a humiliating 4-1 defeat. Making his Premier League debut for United following a £4 million move from Fenerbahce, the 26-year-old Turkish keeper found himself the target of some scathing criticism, most notably from club legend Roy Keane. Keane, never one to mince his words, pulled no punches in the post-match analysis. Speaking after the game, the former United captain slammed Bayender's decision-making, describing it as naive and unfit for the demands of top-level football. His now viral quote, "This is big boy stuff," summed up the intensity of his frustration, not just at the mistake itself, but what it symbolized for a faltering Manchester United team. Bayender had already conceded 3 goals by the 64th minute, though little blame could be directly pinned on him for those. However, it was the 4th, a self-inflicted wound, that tipped the evening from disappointing to disastrous. Attempting to play a short pass out from the back, Bayender misread the situation entirely. His lazy clearance was intercepted by Newcastle forward Joelinton, who quickly found captain Bruno Guimaraes. The Brazilian made no mistake, blasting the ball past Bayender to seal the rout and send the home fans into raptures. Keane was incredulous. "You go back to the decision-making. I'm not even sure what the big benefit would be making that pass. It's absolutely too risky," he said. "At the highest level, it's about your decision-making." The Irishman went on to emphasize that while goalkeepers often need time to acclimate, some errors are simply inexcusable. "I'm quick to defend goalkeepers when they first come into the team because it does take 5, 6, 7 games to get up to speed," Keane admitted. "But that basic mistake there, I can't understand it." In his eyes, Bayender's error showed a lack of awareness and common sense, a cardinal sin for any player, let alone a goalkeeper. "You're up at Newcastle. Newcastle are flying. You do your homework. If you're going to go long, go too far. Just get it up the pitch. If you lose it there, someone is straight through on goal. That's just common sense." Fellow pundit Les Ferdinand echoed Keane's sentiments. "It's typical of what we're seeing from goalkeepers nowadays, trying to be too clever, too precise," he said. "We're 3-1 down. You just put your foot through it. Don't make it worse by trying a little clip or a cute pass. I'm just thinking, what are you doing?" Bayender's nightmare debut comes at a particularly inopportune time for United. With first-choice goalkeeper Andre Onana under fire for a series of shaky performances, there was hope that Bayender could provide stability and competition. Instead, he's now part of the growing list of concerns Erik ten Hag must contend with as United struggle to find form, consistency, and confidence. While one poor performance doesn't define a player, the brutal nature of the Premier League and Keane's assessment highlights how little room for error there is at Manchester United. For Bayender, the challenge now is mental. He must bounce back quickly, prove he can handle the pressure, and show that this outing was a blip, not a blueprint. But in Roy Keane's world, there are no excuses. As he put it, "This is big boy stuff. And if you're going to wear the United badge, and especially between the sticks, you need to be ready."